All right, we're going to attempt to make some raw potato chips. And we're going to try using the Rothkrantz method. So first we got our potatoes. There's 5 pounds of potatoes here. I just washed them. We're going to drain them. And this should be a pretty simple process. We're going to slice them with a mandolin slicer. And then we're going to soak them in a solution of, I think, apple cider vinegar and something else. I'll have to check. And then let them sit for about 12 hours and then dehydrate them and see how they turn out. So that's the first step. All right, so first things first, we're going to use a mandolin slicer. We're using a, a Born slicer, and I really like it. It's a really great slicer. So all we really have to do is figure out how thin we want to slice these more than anything else. And then we should be able to put the slicer on the bowl, kind of like this, and then just slice away. So that's what we're going to do, is try to figure out the thickness to begin with. All right, I'm going to take a potato and I'm going to cut it in half here. Make it a little bit easier. And then what I'm going to do, take the slicer and try to adjust the depth on it to where we think it might make for a good potato chip. It may be a little bit thin still. Let's see. Okay, so we've got it adjusted. And now, that may actually be a little bit thick. We'll see.
You think they're gonna be more?
That's probably it right there. Yeah. All right, so now we've got a bunch of would-be potato chips, and the thinner they are, probably the faster they'll dehydrate. So all right, I'll put all those in there. Alright, so now we have the potatoes all sliced up on the mandolin. And so the book that we're using, it doesn't give you any specifics like, 4 potatoes or a pound of potatoes to this ratio of apple cider vinegar. It just says apple cider vinegar and salt. Now, Stark Raving Raw and I kind of disagree on salt usage. I don't think we should ever have any, and she thinks that some's not bad. So, and there's 2 different camps there, and I don't know which one's right and which one's wrong. I know which one that I prefer and which one I don't. So what we're going to do, well, we're going to rinse them first. They're all back in the bowl. Now, we are going to add the apple cider vinegar. We had some hanging out, I don't know.
We prefer this brand that has the mother in it, because then it gives you all those good microbiomes. But we have this, so we're going to use it up.
So I'm just going to pour this in there. And as I suspected, it didn't come close to filling this whole thing up. Although there is some, you can see it down there. So I'm going to use what's left of, I have another open brag. I'm going to use that. And we're getting closer. Oh, can you smell that?
Yeah. So you want this, or are you going to fill the rest with water?
No, let's do it, this way. I can't imagine that we could get potato chips, raw potato chips, to be so salty and vinegary that we wouldn't want them.
And that'd just be sea salt and vinegar chips.
They'll just be sea salt and vinegar chips. So
it's just a lot of apple cider vinegar that we're using.
it's a ton.
And it's not cheap.
That's right. But it is what it is. Okay, so now we've got that there. And some sea salt, I guess, is supposed to go in with this. Of course, I have no idea how much sea salt. You have any idea?
No.
Oh. They are potato chips after all.
What do you think?
I don't know what old Rothkrantz was thinking. I don't know the idea behind his, you know, hey, mix this up with salt and vinegar. Part of the reason we're doing this is because our son loves potato chips, and I'm really tired of getting him even naturally done potato chips. I really feel, you know, because they have to put things in there to keep them as fresh as they can keep them, which means that there are some sorts of preservatives in there. And if you get any that aren't, you know, of course, those are going to be really, really expensive. And now they sit for 12 hours before we put them on the thing. So we'll come back and check it out after then. All right, so we've been taking the potato slices out of the salt and vinegar mix and rinsing them with some water to rinse off some of the vinegar, like that. And you can actually see, come over to the dehydrator here for a second, you can actually see how we've started this process and how they're starting to dry out. We decided to double space so that we'll have a little bit more room. Depending, the thicker slices may actually work out better, so we'll see. We only did about half of our potatoes, so we've still got a bunch to go. And then we've got some down there. Rearranges a little bit. So we'll give them a couple hours and see how they pan out. The last one we did for 2 hours are pretty well done because they were so thin. So I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of these in on the dehydrator sheets, and then we're going to go ahead and try to finish them out, and we'll take a look at the finished product once it's done. All right, I think we're just about done with this experiment, at least for the most part. These, I think they're pretty well done. It took a couple hours. I thought they'd actually take a lot longer than this, but they shriveled up and pretty well and didn't take too long. Beginning to wonder what kind of seasoning you could do with these things. Just fell on the floor and stuff. I'm sure the doggies will be in here in a second to tell us how good they are. There's one. There's one now. She's going to find the chip, and she does, and she says, nope, I don't want it. Okay. Well, now we know. So there you go. That is the potato chips. They get really small. Not sure if I'll do that again. Oh well.